Hello, this is part 5 of basic knitting techniques, and I'm going to show you now how to do stocking stitch, which is used so much in patterns, knitting patterns these days. It's a good one to knit fast, to be able to get the length of work that you want very quickly, but I'm just going to show the basic knitting techniques on how to do stocking stitch. Now I've already done some moss stitch, which was shown in part 4, how to do moss stitch border, and I've done a few rows of stocking stitch to show you what it looks like, so you don't have to sit there for hours watching me knit. And this is the front, so you can see the stocking stitch shows as a flat stitch all the way. And on the back side, on the reverse, you can see that we've got what looks like a load of purl stitches. All the rows look as if they're in purl, and that's exactly what we do. So the front of the jumper or cardigan or whatever it is you're knitting will, in stocking stitch, will look like that. And it's very easy to do because it's just 2 basic stitches. So we start off with a knit stitch or a plain stitch, whatever you'd like to call it, and the needle, the right hand needle, goes into the loop, yarn round the needle and slide off, and it's every stitch on the needle is the same. So we're doing a complete row of knit stitches or plain stitches, and you can get quite fast knitting. I know various people have other ways of holding yarns and making sure their tension is correct and so on, and once you get going with your knitting, you'll find the way suits you, how to hold the yarn in your fingers, how to hold the pins when you're knitting. Some people like long knitting needles and tuck them under their arms. I'm not one of those. I like to have my needles free and not stuck underneath my armpits. But anyway, everybody has their own way of doing things. So I'm just working along the row here, as you can see, doing knit stitches or plain, same thing, until I get to the end. Then I'll turn round and I'll do a whole row of purl stitches. So there we are, I've come to the end of the row and I've done a row of knit stitches. So we turn round and we go back again, but this time with purl stitches, and you can see we get all the little knobbles at the front this time. Now when I do stocking stitch, I'm come to the purl side. I'm going to do all purl stitches here. I personally always start and finish the row with a knit stitch. If you do one knit stitch at the beginning of the purl row and then go into doing purl all the way along the row and finish with a knit stitch, when you actually come to sew up the garment, it's so much easier to match all those little pimples, the little bobbles at the ends of the rows. You match them up with each other, so that if you're doing a cardigan, the front, say the left front, will match the back side seam. So much easier. You can actually put the pimples or the bobbles that you get at the end of each row together and sew them up. It just makes it easier, I think, if you've got these little knit stitches at the end of the purl rows to match up and sew. So I'm coming to the end of the purl row now, and like I say, this is the way I like to do stocking stitch. It's something that I've developed over the years, many years I've been knitting now, and it's just something that I like to do. So on the last stitch on a purl row, I will do a knit stitch. So that really is all there is to it, to stocking stitch. That's a lovely stitch for basic knitting, and you can really get going with the speed of it once you get your tension and holding the yarn right, and you'll get these little bobbles on the ends where you've been doing your knit stitch at the end and at the beginning and the end of a purl row, and that makes it so much easier, as I say, when you come to knitting or sewing up, sorry, when you come to sew up the garment. So that's the front, showing you the stocking stitch there, and the reverse shows you all the purl stitches that you've done. Okay, so in the next part of our knitting basics, I'm going to show you how to start casting off for a raglan sleeve, so that when you come to do your sleeves, you have raglan sleeves go up sideways, goes up there at a slant. So we'll do some of those in the next lesson. So I hope you followed that. It's a very straightforward, easy to do stitch, and you can get going quite quickly, and the garment that you're knitting will grow quite quickly as well. So I'll see you in the next lesson. Bye.